Cool. Okay. I'm just gonna talk over my dog because she wants my family's attention, and they're busy and I'm busy, so. Hey guys, my name's Sophia, and today I am attempting to film my October TBR, which, if you hear my dog barking in the background of this entire video, I apologize, but yeah, she can't be in my room because if you saw the video where she was in it, which I'll link above if you want to check that out, it was utter chaos. So we're just gonna hear her lovely barking. So I made the decision that despite already overwhelming myself in October because A, I have midterms, B, I decided I wanted to post 31 videos, I decided that my TBR for October, we're gonna be cute and have 31 books on it. Yeah, you heard right. 31 videos, 31 books, and midterms. I'm going to die. It's my favorite month of the year, so it's fine. So yes, I have 31 books. Most of them I have here. 4 of them I don't have, so I'm gonna like go back and forth between the 4 I don't have, just so it's not just me not holding anything up. Let's get started because there's a lot of them, to say the least. First, we have the first book I'm currently reading, which is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Morin. I don't know how to say her last name, unfortunately. I'm sorry for that. She gets louder. Serpent and Dove is a YA. I don't know if it borders new adult because some YA is new adult. Sorry, Jonas. But it's a YA fantasy book. It has witches in it so far. I'm about 140 pages in. It's 500 something pages long. I'm liking it so far. It's really nice. Me and YA fantasy have been weird lately, so it's been refreshing. So there we go. The next book we have is another independently published book that I got, and Master of Salt and Bones by Carrie Lake. This is a new adult dark romance with some fantasy elements, I believe, thrown in there. Heard good things about it. Again, emphasis on the dark romance aspect. I think there's some paranormal aspect to it. I'm only 30 pages in it, so I don't really know, but yeah, got this. I'm excited to read it, and I'm trying to support more indie authors, so there we go. All right, first book that I don't own that I'm going to be reading, and I will own these. Are all coming except for one in my book of the month box, which I placed my order today, hence why I don't have my books. The first one is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by D.E. Schwab. This, I believe, is a book about a girl who makes a deal with the devil to get out of like a bad situation, but it ends up backfiring on her, and now everyone she meets forgets about her. So I'm excited. It sounds nice. I've heard wonderful things from people who have read it early, so I'm really excited to read it. Next, we have The Diviners by Libba Bray. Oh, I should mention, most of these books are spooky-ish or have a spook element to it, because October. This is The Diviners by Libba Bray. This is a highly acclaimed series on Booktube. It's a lot of people's favorite, especially around this time of year, and sad to say I have not read it. I believe this follows characters in the 1920s and that there is some ghost paranormal happenings. So there we go. We'll have the next book that I don't own yet, and that is Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. This is Naomi Novik's new YA, I believe, dark academia book. That's pretty much all I know about it. I don't know anything else. I've read Naomi Novik's Uprooted, as well as the first book in her Temeraire series, which is her dragons in the Napoleonic War type setting book series, which I liked. I didn't really like Uprooted, not gonna lie. So I'm not new to Naomi Novik's writing, so I'm really excited to see what this one brings. Next, we have The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco. This is a new book that I recently acquired that I've been seeing floating around on like Bookstagram lately, and I believe this is about a girl who performs necromancy and tries to resurrect her brother, maybe resurrects her brother, I'm not quite sure, and that's all I really know about it, but it sounds interesting. The cover is spooky and gore just because it's purple. I love purple books, and yeah, I'm excited to read it. I've heard some pretty decent things about it, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and spookiness. There we go. All it takes is some spook, and I'm all for it. Next is my other book of the month book, and that is Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. This is a book that inspired the very popular movie, which I have not seen, which is shocking if you know me. So, fantasy, adult fantasy, kind of contemporary fantasy type of thing. Witches, I believe it has witches, I'm assuming so, from the name and from what very, very little knowledge I know about the film. So there we go. I also have that on my way, and hopefully I get to read it. And we have The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. This is a classic. It is a very short classic, and I've been wanting to read it, so I have a copy of it, and I'm really excited. It's like 150 pages, if that, so there we go. Also, I know there's a movie that just came out based on this. So we have another classic of sorts, and that is The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter. This is a collection of short stories by Angela Carter that are fairy tale retellings, but with a dark twist, which sounds right up my alley. I've had people dying for me to read this, so I'm going to. This book that I'm hoping to read in the last book, I'm hoping to read in October. No, ma'am, we still have like 20 more books. The last book that I don't own yet that I'm hoping to read in October is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. No, Carrie Maniscalco wrote the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, which is one of my all-time favorite series. And this is the first book in our new series. I'm not quite sure what the premise is because I suck at remembering summaries and I suck at giving them. All I know is I love Stalking Jack the Ripper, so she's an auto-buy author at this point. It does come out like 4 days before the end of the month, so if I don't get to it, I'm not going to put that much pressure on myself, but I would like to at least own it by the end of the month, so there's that. Alright, now back to the rest of the books that I own that are in the stack right next to me. Next we have Alice by Christina Henry. This is a new purchase that I got. You'll see it in my October book haul. This is more dark retellings. This is a dark horror-esque retelling of Alice in Wonderland. This author has a whole series. I think she covers Red Riding Hood, Peter Pan, Hook, which is a part of Peter Pan, The Little Mermaid, I think, another out, like the Red Queen, stuff like that. So I'm really excited to get to these. I've heard some good things, so yeah. Also, I just love horror retellings of fairy tales. Next, we have another classic because I can't help myself. We have Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I have been wanting to read Daphne du Maurier books for forever, so I have Rebecca, and you'll see later on that I have another one of her books on this list. I do believe there's a show coming out about this on Netflix. I believe it's a show, not a movie. So I want to read it. I've heard good things. I believe this counts technically towards more gothic literature. Next are two books you've seen way too much on this channel because I declare that I'm going to read them and I never get to them because I don't read. So yeah, these two books are very familiar to my TBRs, and I am determined to get them off my TBR list in this month. I'm sure you know what they are. We got I tried. Home Before Dark by Riley Sager and The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. These are two books I've had on like 5 TBRs at this point. I need to read them. I need to just suck it up and read them because vampires, spooky houses, they're perfect for this month. I just gotta do it. I just gotta bite the bullet and I gotta read them. More for the sake of my videos than for anything else, because I'm sick of talking about these in TBRs and rather get to them in a wrap-up because it'll feel very satisfying once I do. I really hope y'all can hear me over my dog. I'm so sorry. Moving on, we have A Game of Fate by Scarlett St. Clair. You've heard of Scarlett St. Clair's books before on my channel. It was A Touch of Darkness and A Touch of Ruin. There are Hades and Persephone retellings. However, A Game of Fate, which is the book in my hand, is the first book of Touch of Darkness, but through Hades' point of view instead of Persephone's. And because I love my boy Hades and I love my girl Persephone, you know I had to buy this one too. I'm getting the whole trilogy in Hades' point of view along with Persephone's. I got to. So here we are, and I can't wait to read it because like Hades. Anyways, move on. That one's not spooky, that one's just for fun. Next is another one that's kind of just for fun. Is Rhapsodic by Laura Talassa? I am so sorry that I always forget to look up names. That is completely on me. I've read this book from Becca Loves Books, I believe is her channel. A new adult romance with, I believe, some fantasy or some like worldly type paranormal creatures. I'm excited. It's a dark romance, new adult romance, so it'll be a break from all the scary books. So there we go. What is this? I need to stop. My dog needs to stop. Next we have the other Daphne du Maurier book I'm hoping to read, which is My Cousin Rachel. This is a very popular one. This is the movie tie-in edition. I, again, don't know much. I just know that they have gothic premises, I guess you could say, and I'm excited to read them. So there we go. Next we have The Shadows by Alex North. This is Alex North's most recent horror book. I don't know much about this one. I think it involves the woods and getting lost, or is it nightmares? I think it's nightmares. Anyways, I'm excited to read it. They're not too long and they're supposed to be pretty good horror books, so I'm excited. I said that. How many times did I say excited in this video? Someone count. Don't do that. That'll be so sad. Next we have, for me now, probably for you too, next we have The Dark Days Club by Alison Goodman. This is a YA Victorian paranormal book, I believe, and really all I needed was Victorian and paranormal, and I'm all for it. I'm excited. This cover is gorgeous. I've heard good things. It's older YA. I really don't mind. I'm excited to read it. It's a chunker of a book for being older YA, but give me some good ghost boys and I'm all for it. So there we go. Next we have Crush by Tracy Wolff. This is the second. Oh, you cannot see this cover. There we go. Crush by Tracy Wolff. This is the second book in the Crave series trilogy, which is a vampire boarding school series. I read Crave earlier this year. Like I said, the second one, it is a big book. Also has deckled edges. I love books with deckled edges. They need to bring it back more. But yeah, I like it. It's very self-aware. Like the first book, my favorite thing was all the Vampire Diaries references, so I'm really excited to get back into this. Also, I love this cover. Anyways, vampires. You know me, gotta have a vampire book at least on every TBR. Next, we have a Stephen King, because I'm trying to read the rest of my Stephen Kings that I own. But we got Joyland by Stephen King. This is a more like kind of lesser known book of his, because it's more like a crime book than a horror book. It takes place, you guessed it, at a carnival. So, I'm sorry, the reflection. Anyway, it's at a carnival. It's Stephen King. I want to get through my Stephen Kings. I said I'd read the last two Stephen King. I just admitted I only have 2 Stephen Kings. I want to read the last 2 I own before I buy any more, so this is the first of the last ones that I still own that I haven't read, so I'm hoping to read it. Also, I cannot have a spooky book month without making like 10,000 videos around Stephen King. Like, it's just not possible. Next, we have The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. This is a Jack the Ripper based book series. Jack the Ripper's an actual character in it. I think he is. I'm not quite sure. Like a main character, not like just like a mention of the character. So I'm excited to read this and see what it's all about. I've heard pretty decent things, so there we go. Next, we have The Whisper Man by Alex North. This is Alex North's first horror book. Again, I don't know if this is the one that takes place like in the woods or not. All I know is I think there's a murder. Probably. Yeah, I'm excited to read this one and see what it's all about. Next, we have The Raven's Tale by Kat Winters. This is a book all about Edgar Allan Poe, and I'm really excited. It's about Edgar Allan Poe and like his supernatural muse, which I'm really excited to read about because I love Edgar Allan Poe, if you did not know. Next, we have a newer YA book that's been getting a lot of hype because it's more of a gothic story, and that is The Companion by Katie Allender. I don't know much. I just know I think it's a spooky house setting, which is all I really need. So there we go. Also, this cover, let's do it over here, has a spoon with nails in it. And if someone eats nails out of a bowl in this, I'm gonna lose my mind. So we have a series because why not? So we have The Beautiful and The Damned by Renee Audier. This is a duology. It is her vampire duology, I believe, unless it's a trilogy. I'm not quite sure. It might actually be a trilogy now. It's vampires. They've been on my list. Their covers are spooky and gorgeous, and I'm really excited to read these. And again, I've had the first one for forever, and I just need to suck it up and read it. Next, we have another series. One, actually, the first book I want to reread because I remember nothing, and then I want to read the second book because apparently it got a little bit better. So, and these are supposed to be like grimdark, gothic-y elements. Fantasy books. And that's The Wicked Saints and With the Squads. I have read Wicked Saints. I read it the year it came out because I got this in an owl crate. I remember liking it, but I think I let a lot of people's like perception of it ruin my reading because I was like, oh, I liked it, and then I saw bad reviews and I was like, oh, maybe I didn't like it that much. So I want to reread it and then read the sequel, because I've heard a lot of people talk about it and they say if you like dark, like gritty fantasy and like gore, you'll like this series. And I'm like, I like that stuff. Unfortunately, I'm not a bad, like, it's fine. So I need to read these. I will say I absolutely hate that there's faces on these spines. Like, it's disgusting, but I'll deal with it because the front covers are gorgeous, and the third cover for the last book is absolutely gorgeous too. So yeah, I want to reread this and then read the sequel. Last 2 books. Next we have The Haunting of Hill House, which is a book you've seen on many TBRs, because I say I'm going to read it and then I don't, which is basically my entire life. So yeah, Haunting of Hill House, Shirley Jackson. It's a classic. I want to watch the show. I gotta read the book. There we go. And then last but not least, we're ending with my last King book that I own that I have yet to read, and that's Gerald's Game by Stephen King. This one again is more crime than it is horror. The basic premise that I know is a girl gets handcuffed to her bed, the person she's with dies, and then she doesn't have a way to get out of the handcuffs, which sounds awful. So I'm excited to read this and see how it goes. It's one of his shorter books. So yeah, I made it through all 31 books that I'm hoping to read in October. We'll see if I even read 5 of them. So there we go. That's it. That's my October TBR. I hope you guys enjoyed. I enjoyed making this. I hope you enjoyed my dog barking in the background for this entire video. I'm gonna go give her some cuddles right now to see if she'll be quiet while I pre-film the rest of the week. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for joining me for Booktober, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye guys.